Good morning, friends. Welcome to Evolve 2020. Evolve 2020 is all about empowering L&D superheroes to support their remote workforce. My name is Rahul, and I'll be your host for today. This micro webinar series is brought to you by Harbinger Interactive Learning. Harbinger Interactive Learning is a global design and development company specializing in helping organizations migrate their classroom-based trainings into virtual and digital formats. Harbinger Interactive Learning has over 30 years of experience in delivering innovative learning solutions for various industry verticals. For more information, please log on to harbingerlearning.com. Today is the 7th episode in this micro webinar series, and we are going to talk about a very important and interesting topic, which is about how do we use artificial intelligence enabled virtual coaches for continuous performance management post the virtual instructor-led training sessions. And to discuss this topic, we have a couple of guests today in this episode. And with that, let me take the opportunity to welcome our first guest for today. And we have Utkarsh with us. Good morning, Utkarsh. Welcome to Evolve 2020.
Good morning, Rahul, and it's great to be on Evolve 2020.
Thank you, Utkarsh, so much for being here. So, Utkarsh, just for our audience to know you a little better, could you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Utkarsh. I'm an e-learning professional with over 14 years of experience in developing and selling online learning solutions. And I'm really excited to explore how emerging technologies like artificial intelligence can help learners better learn and better perform.
Thank you so much, Utkarsh. It's again, as I said, it's wonderful to have you on this episode of Evolve 2020. We'll look forward to this conversation today. With that, let me welcome our second guest for today. We have Darshan with us. Good morning, Darshan. Welcome to Evolve 2020.
Good morning, Rahul. It feels wonderful to be on Evolve 2020.
Thank you so much, Darshan, for agreeing to be on this episode. So, Darshan, again, I'll make a similar request as I made to Utkarsh for our audience. Could you please tell us a little bit about yourself so that they could know you a little better?
Sure, Rahul. Good morning, everyone. So I work as General Manager Sales at Harbinger Interactive Learning, and my current role involves consulting trainers and L&D professionals from life sciences industry. I bring in vast experience in understanding customer challenges and suggesting them outcome-driven solutions.
Thank you, Darshan. And again, we are excited to get your insights on this particular topic. So we are looking forward to this conversation. Now, before we, get into the main core topic of our discussion today, I wanted to make a request that could you please help us understand a little bit as to what does actually an artificial intelligence enabled virtual coach means?
So, Rahul, before we jump into AI-enabled virtual coach, I guess it would be a good idea for the audience to understand what artificial intelligence is.
Yes, and thank you, Utkarsh. In fact, that would be very helpful. So please go ahead.
Sure. So artificial intelligence is the ability of a computer system to perform tasks that normally require human intelligence or reasoning. For example, visual perception, speech recognition, decision-making, and even language translation. So with that, AI-enabled virtual coach is like a computer program that can help you in performing better by analyzing your strengths and weaknesses, by providing you training support, and even interacting with you whenever required.
Thank you, Utkarsh, for giving us this definition. I think this is the simplest definition I've lately heard in terms of an artificial intelligence enabled chatbot, which can, probably come and play the role of a virtual coach. And, at the end of the day, we as human beings, as professionals at our workplaces, whether it's in the office or we are remote working, we all need a coach who can guide us in the right direction and, kind of has got our back covered. So that definition was very helpful. Now, what would be also interesting for the audience to know is why is this, artificial intelligence enabled technology has become more relevant during these times when, people are working remotely, most of the trainings and meetings are happening virtually. So could you throw some light, and probably we'll go to Darshan to get, Darshan, if we could get your insights on this, please.
Sure, Rahul. To address this question, let's try and understand the state of industry a little bit. I'll talk specifically about big pharma. So with travel restrictions, social distancing, and an emergence of new norm, no longer most popular and preferred way of doing sales. Things have moved to remote setting now. So how do you train your sales reps, keep them updated with the latest and greatest of your products? And above all, how can you provide them with on-point support and help manage, monitor, and improve their performance? Well, artificial intelligence has a solution for you, and I'm going to explain this further with an actual sample. So let me just share my screen and show you a quick sample. Okay, so we have created this bot especially for sales training of medical reps. Now let's consider a scenario wherein a sales rep is trying to pitch a new drug to a doctor. Generally, doctors are quite busy, so it is important for the sales rep to take right steps to get doctors' attention and not push it too much. So the sales rep has to be very mindful, not too pushy, and make sure that he has the attention by selecting the right options, which I'm doing right now. And I will then also try clicking on a wrong option, which means that if the sales rep tries to be very direct, that might upset the doctor. So there you go. So as soon as I clicked on something which was too direct, so the doctor was not very happy with it, and he decided not to answer. So hence, such bots can really help to understand the do's and don'ts so that rep is well prepared for the actual pitch.
And thank you very much, Darshan. This was a really cool application, specifically, the point where the learner makes a wrong choice in the conversation, and the bot just says that, this is not good, and it ends it there. So and I believe similarly, if the learner makes a right choice, the conversation will continue and it will get to a logical conclusion. Would that be a typical scenario?
That's correct, yes.
Right. So this was a very wonderful use case. I think, helping people to make conversations. I mean, it's just a soft skill and a subtle skill, which you would typically learn from, having a conversation with your coach, over a cup of coffee or in the cafeteria. And, at the middle of the day, if you are getting on a call with a clinician and you have something like this through which you can get support and plan things, that's going to be very, very useful. So thank you very much, Darshan, for sharing this example. This was really cool. Now, coming back to Utkarsh. So Utkarsh, we would like to hear something from you, and I guess you have something from the insurance segment to talk about to us.
Yes, Rahul. So let me share some insights from the insurance industry. As we all know, insurance sales is a high touch activity, and insurance sales representative needs to have good product knowledge and great soft skills as well. Now, earlier in good old days, this training was happening in the classroom environment, and then this learning reinforcement was happening while you interact with your colleagues in the cafeteria, like you said, or where they share their stories, their experience with each other. But now in today's scenario, you have very limited in-person interaction with your colleagues and your trainers as well. And learning reinforcement has taken a hit. So now AI can play a big role here. So AI can help in reinforcing this formal learning to you in the moment of need, so that you can quickly learn and perform in your day-to-day job. And even I have a good sample to share with our audience. So allow me a minute to share my screen and let's see a reinforcement bot. So just to share this particular reinforcement bot is from banking sector, and it covers a topic like teller essential. But I guess I thought it would be a good idea to share it today. So so here is a teller essential training reinforcement bot, and what this bot does, it allows you to choose from different topics, and based on what your need is for today, you can select a topic and then say, okay, I just want to learn about, let's say, a non-verbal communication, let's say. And the bot can actually help you in providing textual definition, and also can present a small micro video that you can quickly go through, learn and apply. So this way the bot allows you to integrate different elements together and help you to learn in the flow of work. So here's a good example of learning bot used as a learning reinforcement. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Utkarsh. This example is pretty interesting. And I think that's a great point you brought about reinforcement of learning, because, you know, as organizations are moving their classroom-based trainings into virtual formats, and it's perfectly fine that we can, you know, quickly set up an infrastructure, conduct a virtual session over the Zoom, and you know, get the learning done. But what happens after that session? That's important. So do we leave the learners on their own? And then the forgetting curve is always there. It starts kicking in. So how do the learners get the usual support? They're not in offices, so that they can, you know, turn back to their peers or supervisors and get that help at the moment of need. So this reinforcement thing is pretty important. And I think one cool thing in the sample that you showed is, and help me understand if that's a correct understanding. So within this environment of this AI-enabled virtual chatbot, you can push content in multiple formats. So for example, you spoke about of course, the text is definitely there. Then there's this video-based thing, you know, a small 3-minute video that you have. Are there other multiple formats through which you can push content in this environment?
Absolutely, Rahul. So we talked about text and video. You can integrate audio. You can even have some interactivities added to the list as well. So it supports multiple formats.
Right, that's great, and thank you once again. This was very interesting. In fact, both the examples or solutions that we looked at, both were pretty interesting. So what we are looking at is in terms of, while organizations are moving into moving their classroom-based trainings or in-person training programs into a virtual format, artificial intelligence-enabled technologies are a potential way through which we can make this solution of virtual learning, remote learning more holistic, and we can use it for reinforcement of learning solutions, and we can use it for making learning available in the flow of work at the point of need. And that's what the coach is all about, right? The coach is helping you, constantly guiding you in the right direction, and enabling you to perform at your highest levels. So, and in today's session, I just want to let our audience know that we are purposefully not getting into the specific section of how do we go about creating these AI-enabled chatbots, because that's a vast topic in itself altogether. We'll probably arrange another episode for that separately where we can have that conversation. But for today, let me take this opportunity to thank our guests for today, Utkarsh and Darshan. Thank you so much. I think the simple definition that you gave of artificial intelligence, what its capabilities are, and how it can be used in this virtual, to extend the virtual learning scenarios, and those couple of examples that you shared with us, they were really cool. And thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much, Rahul, and I'm glad that I could share some examples and experience with our friends in the L&D.
Thank you, Rahul. It was great being here today.
Thank you once again. And for our audience, though this micro webinar is for 15 minutes, but we'll probably hang out for a few more minutes. If you have any thoughts, comments, questions, please feel free to type in the chat box. If possible, we'll answer them today, or if not, then we'll answer you via email. All of us would, everyone who is registered for this webinar will get a recording of this webinar. And above and beyond that, if there's anything specific, you want to have a detailed conversation, you want to have a one-on-one conversation with either Utkarsh or Darshan as to how they are helping organizations solve some of these problems with the intervention of AI-based technologies, please feel free to drop us a line at info@harbingerlearning.com, and we'll be more than happy to answer them for you. I'll repeat, it's info@harbingerlearning.com. So let's take a moment and see if we have something on the chat. And while we see some of those comments, let me also tell our audience that if you have, the next session that we have planned, the next episode for this micro webinar series that we have planned is also pretty interesting one. We are going to actually talk about how to bring in behavioral changes by nudging learners using the content that you deliver during your virtual sessions. So that's going to be another interesting episode, and we'll bring in another superhero from the L&D community as a guest on these micro webinar series to talk about it. It's scheduled at next week, same day, same time. That's Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific. And with that, let's close for today's session. Thank you once again, everyone, for joining in today. I hope this was an insightful one. See you next week. Till then, stay safe and stay inspired. Thank you.